You know that tiny moment when a website freezes, a delivery app stops moving, or someone takes too long to reply, and suddenly you're calm. Reasonable brain turns into a little courtroom. You start checking again and again, as if staring harder could push the universe forward. That feeling is not just impatience. Your brain genuinely treats waiting as a problem to solve. Not because you are weak, spoiled, or addicted to speed, but because the human brain is built to predict what happens next. Waiting is the awkward gap where prediction has nothing solid to grab. Most of the time, your brain is not passively watching life. It is constantly guessing. When you reach for a cup, it predicts the weight before you lift it. When you hear footsteps behind you, it predicts who might be there. When a sentence begins, your mind is already leaning toward the next word. This is one reason the world feels smooth instead of like a pile of separate snapshots. Your brain is always slightly ahead of reality, preparing you for the next move. Waiting breaks that flow. You have a goal, but no action that completes it. You want the message, the bus, the doctor, the food, the result, the page to load. Your brain has already opened the mental loop. It has prepared for the next event, but the event does not arrive. So the loop stays open, and open loops are noisy. This is why two waits of the same length can feel completely different. Sitting through a long movie that you chose can feel easy. Standing beside a slow elevator for a much shorter time can feel strangely irritating. The clock is not the only thing your brain measures. It measures uncertainty, control, attention, and meaning. Uncertainty is the big one. A known wait is usually easier than an unknown wait. If someone says the train will arrive later, your brain can build a plan around that. But if the screen just says nothing, or the person just does not answer, your mind keeps generating possibilities. Maybe it is coming now. Maybe it is broken. Maybe they saw your message and ignored it. Maybe you should do something. Maybe you should not. Uncertainty turns a simple delay into a mental search. That search uses energy. Your attention keeps returning to the thing you are waiting for, like a finger tapping the same spot on a table. And here is the strange twist. The more attention you pay to time, the slower time feels. When you are deeply absorbed in a game, a conversation, or a task, time seems to disappear because your attention is busy with the world. But when you are waiting, attention often has nowhere else to go. It folds back onto time itself. You begin to feel every second because you are watching every second. This is why a loading circle can feel almost rude. It gives your brain movement without information. Something is spinning, but nothing is explained. Your brain sees motion and expects progress, yet it cannot tell whether the end is close. A progress bar, even an imperfect one, often feels better because it gives the brain a shape for the future. It says, here is where you are, here is where this is going. Your nervous system likes that. Control changes everything too. Waiting feels worse when you cannot do anything. If you are stuck in traffic as a passenger, it can feel maddening. If you are driving, even slowly, it may feel less helpless because your hands are still part of the situation. Pressing an elevator button twice does not usually make the elevator faster, but it gives your brain a tiny feeling of agency. You made an action. The loop got a small handle. The need for control is not childish. It is survival logic. A brain that can influence events has a better chance of staying safe, finding food, protecting relationships, and avoiding danger. So when you are forced to wait with no control and no information, older alarm systems in the body can wake up. Not always as panic, but as tension, restlessness, irritation, or that urge to check again. There is also a reward system involved. Dopamine is often described as a pleasure chemical, but that is too simple. It is strongly tied to learning, motivation, and the gap between what your brain expects and what actually happens. When something rewarding might happen soon, your brain becomes sensitive to cues. A notification might arrive. A reply might come. The delivery might turn the corner. A result might appear. Your brain is not just waiting for pleasure. It is tracking possibility. Possibility is powerful because it keeps the system active. A guaranteed reward at a fixed time can be calmly expected. A possible reward at an unknown time can become magnetizing. This is part of why checking your phone can become so automatic. Most checks give you nothing special, but sometimes there is a message, a like, a sale, a result, a tiny hit of novelty. The randomness teaches your brain to keep looking. Maybe now is a very sticky thought. That same mechanism helps explain why waiting can feel worse in modern life. We have surrounded ourselves with devices and services that promise instant feedback, but often deliver it unpredictably. Messages show up at odd times. Apps refresh with uncertain rewards. Deliveries move across maps. Feeds update just when you pull down. Your brain did not evolve inside a casino made of glass rectangles, but sometimes that is what a phone becomes, a small machine of maybe now. Still, waiting is not only about speed. It is about meaning. Being made to wait can feel like being made smaller. If a friend is late and apologizes clearly, the wait may be annoying but manageable. If they are late and say nothing, the same delay can feel personal. Your brain starts asking a social question. Do I matter here? Humans are deeply social animals, and our nervous systems pay attention to respect, fairness, and belonging. That is why unfair waiting burns more than ordinary waiting. A line that moves slowly is one thing. A line where someone cuts ahead is another. The extra anger is not about minutes alone. It is about fairness being violated. Your brain is not just timing the delay. It is judging the social rules of the situation. Waiting can sting when it feels like your time is being treated as less valuable than someone else's. There is a body side too. Waiting often traps action inside you. You are ready to move, speak, eat, leave, know, decide, but the outside world says not yet. That mismatch creates restlessness. Muscles prepare, then hold. Breathing may become shallow. Your eyes keep scanning. Your hand reaches for the phone. The body is trying to turn tension into action, even if the action is useless. This is why waiting rooms are so strange. Nothing dangerous is happening, usually. You are sitting on a chair, under normal lights, beside a table with boring objects. And yet your mind can feel busy, your body can feel alert, and time can feel stretched. The room is not attacking you. The uncertainty is. The open loop is. The lack of control is. The hidden question of what happens next is. One surprising thing about waiting is that the discomfort can become worse when the expected thing is very important, but also when it is tiny. Waiting for medical results is obviously heavy, but waiting for a small reply can also become absurdly loud because the brain is not only responding to the size of the event. It is responding to uncertainty, attention, and emotional meaning. A tiny unanswered message can carry a huge question if your mind attaches importance to it. So what can you do with this? You cannot simply tell the brain to stop being a brain, but you can change what the brain has to predict. The first trick is to reduce uncertainty. An estimate, a plan, a next step, or a clear boundary gives your mind a container. I will check again after I finish this task feels different from I will keep checking until the universe gives me mercy. One has a shape, the other has a hole. The second trick is to give attention a job. Not a fake job, a real one. If you are waiting for a reply, do something that has its own beginning, middle, and end. Wash dishes. Walk around the block. Edit one small file. Read one short section. Your goal is not to distract yourself perfectly. It is to move attention away from monitoring time. The moment you stop using your attention as a stopwatch, time usually softens. The third trick is to separate wanting from checking. Wanting something is normal. Checking is an action. Your brain often fuses them together, as if wanting requires checking. But many things do not arrive faster because you inspect the empty space where they might appear. You can want the reply, the result, or the delivery without feeding the loop every few seconds. That is not indifference. It is refusing to become an unpaid security guard for uncertainty. The fourth trick is to restore agency in a useful way. If you can take one real step, take it. Send the needed information. Confirm the time. Ask for an update politely. Make a backup plan. But after the real step is done, repeated tiny actions may only train the brain to stay anxious. Control helps when it changes the situation. It can hurt when it becomes a ritual that keeps the loop alive. There is also a bigger reframe. Waiting is uncomfortable because your brain cares about the future. It is trying to protect your goals, your safety, your relationships, your place in the group. Sometimes it overreacts. Sometimes it mistakes uncertainty for danger. Sometimes it turns a spinning wheel into a personal insult. But underneath the drama is a useful design, a mind built to notice what is unresolved. So the next time waiting makes you tense, try not to label yourself as simply impatient. Ask what part of the wait is actually hurting. Is it the unknown ending? The lack of control? The fear of being ignored? The feeling that your time is being wasted? The answer matters because each kind of waiting needs a different response. A slow line may need acceptance. A vague plan may need clarity. A phone loop may need distance. A social delay may need communication. A serious result may need support. Once you name the real ingredient, waiting becomes less mysterious. It stops being one giant cloud of frustration and becomes a set of smaller signals. The real reason your brain hates waiting is not that time is empty. It is that waiting is full of predictions that cannot finish, actions that cannot complete, questions that cannot settle, and futures that have not arrived yet. Your brain is standing at the edge of the next moment, leaning forward. And when nothing comes, it keeps leaning. But you do not have to lean with your whole body. You can give the weight a boundary, give your attention something alive to do, and remind your nervous system that not yet does not always mean never. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do with waiting is not to make it shorter, but to make it less lonely inside your head.